Welcome to Koi World. In this video I'm going to be discussing whether it's worth breeding koi in 2021. So without further ado, let's get right to it. So 2020 has been so far one of the craziest years yet. It's already affected a lot of businesses. I was going to be considering breeding koi for 2021. However, due to the circumstances of this pandemic, the lockdowns and everything else that's going on in this world, in the current year of 2020, nobody now knows if it's going to be a good thing or a bad thing. And hopefully a few of you guys would leave me a comment down below on each topic that I select. It might just help somebody else out that either one is thinking about breeding, two is already breeding and having a hard time. Maybe you guys can pop a comment down below, and hopefully somebody else just started to breed or has been breeding and is about to go into another year of breeding. They might just be put off by the idea. Unless it's a good idea to get into koi, then comment below and tell us all what a fantastic hobby it is. Maybe it's the beneficial business to be in during the pandemic and lockdowns. So first question I have is, due to the lockdowns, have sales of fish gone down or up? Now, what do we mean by that? Well, basically, the beginning of the year has been a really strange. So we've started off the year as the pond industry has started to open up in the year of 2020. A lot of them had to close down very quickly, and not just in the UK, I'm talking worldwide. Absolutely everywhere in the world has had to deal with this. It is a tremendous big issue in 2020 that we've all had to deal with. If we have to go into another lockdown, is it going to completely destroy the businesses that are left? Another way we could look at it, is it now becoming the situation where a lot more people have spent time at home, so now a lot more people are buying koi for the gardens and giving somewhere nice to sit in? And let's face it, koi are probably the only fish, if not the most loved fish in the entire world by so many different kinds of people. They're kind of a little bit magical as well, don't you think? You know, there's a couple of stories behind it, a couple of details that we're not going to get into on this video about them turning into the fantasy dragon. So if you've had a lockdown that's affected your business, comment below what business you're in, where you're currently located. If you would like to as well, go ahead and post a link on the comments below to a direct site, website, business, or just post your number below. Hopefully it can spread the business for you on this channel. Next question. Has there been an increase in culling quantity due to the lack of sales? When you're breeding koi, you actually get a tremendous amount of fish, and I'm talking tens of thousands or if not hundreds of thousands of fish. Now, part of the breeding process, what happens is specially trained people, or let's just say people with a really good eye for detail in fish, quite often sit down like this guy and go through each and every fish. Quite often you'll find at least 6 or 7 people per breeding farm that will go through a selected number of fish each, share the process, work day and night. And for example, anybody that's breeding like kohaku, they're trying to basically go through the entire mountains of fish stage by stage and selecting the only fish that have got a pigment of red on the main part of the head or throughout of the body. They save. Anything without a red pigmentation of colour on the forehead, well, they go and get killed, which is what culling process is. The culling process in natural ponds, before you ask, yes, it happens naturally. If you don't separate from breeding and you don't separate them with the big guys, well, the big guys will just eat it for free food. And yes, they feast on the little baby fish. They get eaten by the big fish. whether you feed the big fish or not. Due to the lockdowns, does this now mean that there's been a lot less sales? If so, what's happened with them fish? Because let's face it, these fish farms aren't able to save and rescue all these amount of fish. There's literally millions and millions of fish that get bred each and every year across the planet. So now, does that mean, due to the lack of sales, is there a hell of a lot more fish that are being culled, including the ones that might have had more value, or the ones that haven't necessarily got a great value? You can get some selling numerous quantities of little tiny baby fish for next to nothing, and you can basically start a little koi business from home at the startup cost of only like £300-400 for literally 1,000 of these bloody fish. Moving on to the next question. A local koi dealer near me told me this year that pond liners have more than tripled in sales of 2020 alone. Now, does that mean that because there's more people spending time at home due to the lockdown, self-isolation, on furlough, such things as that, are people now buying into the ponds of the back garden? Does this mean the sales of fish have gone up? Comment below if you've got any secret information. Comment below if you're a fish farmer yourself. Comment below if you think that fish should be excluded from lockdown. In other words, these fish that have been bred in 2019, ready to sell throughout of 2020 to 2021 for the growing process, do you think that they should be disqualified from the lockdown period? Do you think they should be freely available to buy online on the internet and have the delivery services there available? Or do you think it's a really bad idea and everybody should have to stop breeding for 2021 until, let's just say until the entire planet's caught up? If people are losing their jobs and selling their homes, what is happening to the ponds? What do I mean by that? Well, let's face it. Some people have lost their jobs and are either having to remortgage or to sell their home because they know they're not going to be able to go back to that lifestyle after this pandemic, if it ever ends. So people that are selling due to the pandemic and the lack of income, the lack of jobs and things like that, that have had great, fantastic ponds for many, many years, or they've just decided to have one 2017, 18, 2019, and even in 2020, the beginning of it, before everybody went into lockdown, they might have just set up the pond and spent thousands of pounds on this pond, realised that all of a sudden come March, when we started going into these lockdowns, did they lose the jobs then and decide to sell the property? If so, what happened to the ponds? Did they rebuild them at the new location where they've moved to the new house? Did they build a new pond? Did they sell the ponds with all the fish in there? Did they leave them? I know first-hand experience, one of my, three or four of my main fish from the beginning, I bought those from a guy that had no clue whatsoever about koi fish, didn't want to look after them. They just moved into a property that they just purchased with this pond in there, and the water was literally pea green like that, and you couldn't see any fish in there whatsoever. So what I had to do is trust my waders, get inside, have a feel around, and basically give him 80 quid for as many fish as I could find. Unfortunately for me, I only found 3 fish, and so far a couple of them died, I think, when we took them out. 1, we didn't have a scope at the time, so we couldn't check for parasites. 2, I do believe that the fish, when they were living in there, were living in such a poor condition and probably only got the nutrition and nutrients from the natural kind of pond that it were. And the pond filter that had been switched off by the guys that had moved out and sold the house, which is absolutely crazy, disgusting behaviour if you ask me, but they're probably never going to see this video, and even if they didn't, couldn't give a damn what they think about me, because that is damn cruel. If you're going to sell your house and you've got a pond, you've got a priority. Let's face it, would you leave a dog in your house for the new owner to buy? No, you wouldn't. Would you even be allowed to sell your house for somebody else to be living in there and leave your pets behind for the new owner? No, you wouldn't. The RSPCA would send you to court and you would end up in a lot of trouble. So why is it any different for koi fish? I'm only asking the questions, but comment below on your opinions, what you think, what you believe is right and wrong when selling a property. Should you take your fish with you? Should you sell your fish? Or should you make a deal with the new owner to keep the fish there if they want? And if they don't want to keep the new fish as part of the new house, should they be responsible for removing the fish themselves? If we do decide to go ahead and breed in 2021, which is very close coming up, during the koi season, when fish start to breed, are we going to be in a position where we're able to breed? And if we do decide to start thinking about breeding and start putting them into heated ponds and breeding process and things like that during 2021, knowing the year that we've had so far in 2020, how are we going to be able to sell the fish if there are more restrictions? Let's face it, we've now got 12 months experience how the government can literally shut you down in an instant. And if you don't believe that the government can shut you down in an instant, then I think you better get yourselves off of this channel and go and have a look at the government website, because it's right there. They can literally shut down any business as they please. They can literally just shut your business down. There are some businesses, however, where the business owners have still got liability, such as pond breeders. They can still go to work, the staff can still go to work and take care of the fish. How are these people sustaining themselves? How are these fish able to stay in these ponds and being looked after by so many of staff, so many of the amount of staff that's there one day on a regular basis taking care of so many fish? All of a sudden there's a big pandemic and a big lockdown and loads of staff go on furlough and people decide to can't go into work and self-isolate and all that. What about the overall running costs, the overall overheads to your business? Who's going to pay for them? Government? I don't think so somehow. Anyways, guys, we are going to end it right about there, because this video is literally going to be the only video I'm probably going to be seriously confused and scratching my head until 2023 at this rate, because we still don't know the answers to any of these questions. And let's face it, the governments decide what the governments want to do, and we just have to follow. Whether it's right or whether it's wrong, well, it's anybody's guess game. So anyway, you tell me what your thoughts and opinions are on breeding koi in 2021. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel and comment below on your opinions. And also, if you do like this video, give me a thumbs up and the reasons why you like the video, comment below. If you don't like the video, however, if you can just put a little comment before you leave the channel and just tell me what it is that you don't like. And just remember, if you do leave this one, how do you know the next video isn't going to be a big giveaway for something good? Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Most of all, happy koi.